Hello YouTube. This here is my even cut lawnmower by Bradley. I've done a couple other videos on it. People have asked me for some updates, so here we go. Nothing too spectacular. The only glitches I've had have really been my fault. Well, let's see. We just got done with the tune-up. We did the air filter, changed the oil, spark plug. Still using the Mobile One 530 oil in it. Been real happy with that. It's the same thing I use in my car, so it makes it convenient. If you want to know all the specs of the lawnmower, go to one of my other videos where my first one on it, I talked a lot about the specs on it and how it was made and things. I'm not going to go over all that again. Well, the hiccup I had with it was, let me show you here. This little clip. Guess I caught it on something. I lost one of these clips. I don't know when I lost it, because when I mow, I keep the lawnmower on the ground and just, when it's rolling it does it better, you know, and just turn it. My son's 15. He had his ear pods in and he was out here mowing. He wanted to mow. I usually do all the mowing. I like to. He wanted to mow that day and it was hot. I've been working a lot, so I was like, go for it. Well, when he was mowing, he did it like an old, like a traditional lawnmower and picked it up and turned it. Well, and guess what happened? One of the wheels fell off and he ran over it. As you can see, they're pretty hefty there. You know, it's a nice little piece of steel. So when he ran over that, it bent the blade up, bent the deck up, and of course it wasn't working after that. So that cost about $300, actually a little over $300 for the parts. And it's back to running again good, and it's got a new deck on it. The deck's hefty. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just running over that big wheel, you know, and just got all bound up in there, and it didn't bend the deck really bad. Looking at it, it didn't look that bad, but after you put the new blade on it, it was hitting the deck, and when you measured it, it was off by, yeah, almost an inch. So it was pretty decently bent. But again, not the lawnmower's fault. What else? I have complained in the past about the self-propelled over here. Well, it's actually working good. It was, again, me. I live in Mississippi down on the coast, and it is humid. Right now I got sweat dripping off my sunglasses, which I know you probably don't care about. It is humid and hot. So I mow usually really early in the morning. The grass still has a lot of dew on it from the humidity, or I've even been known to mow when it's, you know, lightly raining. And the self-propelled doesn't work very well. It's more like assist. But a couple times here, just because that's when I had to do it, because I was doing things, I mowed in the afternoon when it was death heat out, and the self-propelled worked great. Man, when it's running, you hit this little handle, you know, from a sit still, and when the motor's running, you hit this and it'll pull the wheels off the ground. It works very well, just not when it's damp or wet. So I wanted to get that clarified. But I've been happy with the lawnmower. Would I buy it again? Yes. As far as gas mileage goes, I fill up 3 5-gallon things of gas every year, and I put some gas treatment in there, some fuel stabilizer and stuff to take the ethanol out. I used a mid-grade gas, because that's where I use in my vehicles, so if I need some gas I can use it out of the cans. But I used up just about all 3 cans last year. There's about 3, maybe 3.5 months we don't mow out of the year here. I mow once a year, so basically I used 15 gallons of gas last year. My yard's not real big, but it's not real small. Here's a little overview of it. So, you know, I do a little bit of mowing. I mow once a week, like I said, and I've been very happy with it. As far as the mulching kit goes that I put on, I think I've talked about it before. It's just that little plate there that bolts on the side. Nothing fancy. Same blade. Here's what the grass looks like when you... It's pretty fine. It mulches it up okay. But it ends up like, you can see, looks like a cornfield. Got a bunch of little rows. So that is going to be your decision if you think you'd be happy with that. I don't rake, and it's a whole lot better than just shooting all the grass out the side. So for 25, 30 bucks or whatever it was, I'm glad I bought it. Doesn't work great, but it does work. And as far as the lawnmower, it's held up fine. Paint's still good, nothing's chipping. You know, it sits in the garage, so I wouldn't imagine it'd be all faded out or anything. Motor's been great. Oh, another complaint. I think I mentioned this one other time, that I had to replace this bearing when I first got it. There's a little bearing under here. Yeah, these are my safety shoes. Had to replace that again. The bearing's underneath the deck. It's pressed in a housing that bolts to the deck, and I hose my lawnmower off after I use it every time. Make sure if you decide to hose your lawnmower off, or your motorcycle, your four-wheeler, whatever, your car, it needs to be running. Especially do not do it if it's hot. If you do not want to do it while it's running, make sure things have been sitting overnight or something, or you will tear the motor up. But make sure it's running. I hose it all off, the motor, the deck, everything. I stick the hose underneath the deck just a little on both sides and get all the debris out of there. And then I let it run for about, depending on how hot it is, 5-10 minutes. Make sure everything evaporates off the motor. Deck might be a little wet or something, that doesn't matter, but the motor's got to be dry. And then I put it up in the garage. And like I said, I mow when it's moist out early in the morning, and I have been known to mow when it's sprinkling. So maybe that's why the bearing, I'm having problems with it. Or maybe it's just something that you got to replace every year. But the guy, I take the whole lawnmower into my lawnmower guy. He takes it apart, presses it in, puts it back together. Same time he sharpened my blade up and did my tune-up and everything. I think the bearing it was under 10 bucks, and I think he charged me like another 15 to put it in. So, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't bother me. It might bother you. And again, it might just be something that's going on with mine. But anyway, that's the update on the lawnmower. Like I said, nothing spectacular. I'm happy with it. I'm glad I bought it. It's still working good. And I'm just doing the basic maintenance to it. Nothing out of the ordinary. If you're in the market for a heavy-duty lawnmower and want to spend a lot of money on one, or what I consider a lot, they're time you get the wheels on the front and the mulching kit and everything and taxes, you're pushing $1,000, 900 bucks, something like that. This is a good lawnmower and I'm extremely happy with it. Anyway, as always, God bless. You have a great day. Thanks for watching.